veto for you. But a lot of teams, and a number of the teams, we bring in FaZe, for example, maybe Liquid, maybe even Ninjas in Pajamas. When you're playing international competition as much as you are, a lot of these teams will try to move outside of the default Latin America inter-region meta, and sometimes it's hurt them.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. When teams from Latin America play on the international scale, they play completely different. So it's a weird transition to see. Here we have it: Border or Consulate, Clubhouse or Consulate. Yeah, because I think Border should be auto. No, okay, it's gone.
All right, so we're gonna be playing on Clubhouse.
Consulate was auto banned, and then it's gonna be Clubhouse.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool.
Gotcha.
So. Both teams have played Clubhouse once so far this season, but they both lost it. Also, coincidentally, they both lost it against Liquid. So, but both of these matches that happened for each team were pretty far back. So it's been a while since either of them have come to Clubhouse.
So it'll be interesting to watch because Clubhouse is a map that typically favors the defenders, but also hinges a lot on, is there going to be a hard breacher ban? If there is a hard breacher ban, that really usually impacts the way that things go for the attackers and completely changes the way that you can attack Clubhouse as well. One thing that we've seen is that construction has become much bigger of a focal point for teams, whether you're attacking Gym Master Bedroom or whether you're attacking Cash and CCTV. Now, we said that this might end up being a bit of a closer matchup than the numbers suggest. Do you agree? We'll take a look and see exactly how the community vote ends up working out. And Black Dragons actually getting the edge here is quite surprising, I'm going to say.
Yeah, Black Dragons are in a relegation position right now, so that is crazy. But clearly having a strong fan base, and Immortals on the other hand, to be fair, honestly. Again, as I talked about earlier, to be fair to people who voted for Black Dragons in this, it makes sense. I mean, if you look at the recent history, there was a big gap between the first half and the second half, okay? And while Immortals had a great first half of the season, they have lost very definitively their last two matches, only winning 3 rounds between those two. And on the other hand, Black Dragons won very definitively their last 2 matches. And, they have looked much better in this second half of the season.
Yep.
The only thing that gives me pause on that vote is that Black Dragons won against Nip and Pain, whereas Immortals lost against FaZe and Liquid. Both of those matches kind of make sense. Both of those sets of matches kind of make sense. And I can see why you would vote for Black Dragons given that they've had more victory recently. But again, Immortals seemingly have been playing as the better team in this season overall.
Yeah. I mean, it took almost half the season for Black Dragons to get their first victory, for crying out loud. Like,
it did take half the season.
It took so long. And I mean, it's like, I get that they've been a bit on the ascendancy in comparison to where they were, but I mean, you can't jump out of a basement window. You can't go any farther down. So it's at some point, you're expecting them to start playing a little bit better, maybe pick up a win or two here. This is going to be the real test for Black Dragons.
Yes.
Because, as you mentioned, Immortals coming in. Are they going to be proficient enough? Well, we'll see. They haven't had the best results, but they've been against pretty good teams. So in just a moment, we're going to launch into Clubhouse and get things underway. And it looks like Immortals also won't have Uke playing for them.
Interesting.
So possibly 2 substitutes.
Yeah, a bit of an odd day. Black Dragons will be banning first, as you can see. And they're taking their time with it.
Yeah, this usually does not take quite this long. PX is going to be playing in place of Uke today. So that's 2 teams. Not sure what it is. Hopefully everything is all well down in Brazil, and that there isn't some storms or anything along those lines that are preventing these players from competing.
Thermite being banned by Black Dragons, and that makes a lot of sense. Thermite, of course, usually you talked about it earlier before we even got into the match. Usually you'll see a hard destructor ban on this map, and it's going to be Thermite. Blitz being banned by Immortals, and that's going to be the ferocious shield operator already gone.
This is a Clash ban. Clash getting banned with a lot more consistency as of late.
Not wanting to deal with shields, Immortals.
Clash is in a very, we'll call it, strong place right now when in coordinated style of play. And I mean, I think a lot of teams saw how Pain was using Clash with 9XT, heavily protecting Clash, making it so that teams would bleed through their utility as much as they could before engaging with the Clash, who, especially on the CCTV cache site and then downstairs in the church Arsenal site, we would often see Clash be an incredibly powerful operator here. But with Echo being the final ban, that does mean that we do have Mira available on the board. It looks like Levi is just going to pick her up, or Levy is going to pick her up, and right away Black Dragons is going to run with her. So,
Basement going to be the first defense for Black Dragons. I find that kind of interesting considering they banned Thermite. Thermite ban most influences the top floor defense because big part of the strategy on attacking cache, for example, is opening up that server wall. And now that you can't do it, that makes the site quite a lot better. I mean, you can with the Hibana charges, yeah, but you can't really open the wall. You know, you're still going to be dealing with a bottleneck. It's going to be not as great as you would like. Whereas the basement is less affected. It is still affected, but less so. You could still open up the drop downs with the Hibana. You can still open up the dirt tunnel with the Maverick. You have your options available to you as an attacking team on this basement. And equally so, again, on the top floor, just to a lesser extent. Interesting strategy going on with this armory wall.
This looks similar to what Necrox used to do on Evil Geniuses, is where they'd shoot out that entire wall. It doesn't look like they're going to get that same level of destruction out of Levy, as he's just going to go for a simple hole here. And yeah, there you go. It's just a vault hole. So that's all you really need, really.
When they open up the rest of the armory is the weird thing. All the way over to the stairs. A lot of teams will reinforce that to prevent a rush, but not so here.
And also reinforce it so that Pulse can play there comfortably too. You keep the one reinforced panel so you don't have to worry about possibly somebody dropping from Moto or somebody just getting to the bottom of the main stairs and picking off usually Pulse, who's going to be playing in that spot, which a lot of teams actually call Pulse spot. But
it's so powerful.
Speaking of first kills and not having a rush dealt with, Lion gone.
Wow.
Navi's eliminated from Drunks as the Legion is just going to continue to sprint away. A Logic Bomb will get used from Diogo. I don't know if that's possibly to try and prevent another peek in case Immortals is wary of Black Dragons being that aggressive or not.
So, unwavering aggression seems to be the trend of the day for defense. And Navi's going down early when it's those EE1Ds not going to be of any use in this round at all. Maverick putting some pressure onto the dirt tunnel, though not seemingly focused on entering there, just distracting, if anything. And he's just going to move his way into the building after opening those holes. Being droned down the main stairs now, he is going to be in a power position as soon as he gets here. The problem is the Miro window will likely prevent him from peeking into the armory where you can see Small playing right now. This is why you call it Pulse Spot. It's just so powerful, so much information you can gather. If the attack is coming from anywhere but blue, it's just information overload and can help out your team quite a lot.
What a kill from RDZ onto Diogo, and Immortals will lose a second. This time they'll lose the Dokkaebi. So Smoke's gone. Cyber will refrag a bit late. They're onto Drunks, and it also looked like you got some presence from Immortals inside of Dirt Tunnel. The Jaeger of RDZ patiently waiting at the end of the tunnel, and there you go, double duty, but RDZ will get caught in the crossfire as Maestro tries to outduel Cyber and will be quite successful. Slash falls just by the boxes inside of the Arsenal wall, and we've equalized as PX, the Buck, playing from above. The substitute from Immortals used to be a permanent member, replaced by Yuke. That was a big kill for the Buck there. You've still got 2 anchors left from Black Dragons in the hands of both Maestro as well as Mira. Slash as the suppressor on the Alda, which is I think we've actually seen a number of people run with.
So the rumor is that it reduces your recoil quite a bit.
And I mean, it's it's something that you'd obviously have to test. But yeah, after the recoil patch, that has simply been the way that it's been set. A great grenade here from PX as a round that looked like it was in Black Dragon's favor. Right now, swinging the other way around. C4 from Levi will go out, and then just pinging over and over again. Vector Ratel through one. Levi going for the second, misses. One with the final kill. That's all he needed, just the one. And Immortals will grab the round and walk away with the lead.
That was a very well-placed grenade, and if it had not been for that grenade, I am all but certain that Black Dragons would have been able to take that round. You got to give massive props to Immortals, and I believe PX was the one who tossed it, so good job, if I'm not mistaken. Now, following that, Immortals are going to get to attack likely onto the basement again, and it should be success for Black Dragons here. The big story of the day, or at least that round, is because Immortals were able to successfully attack the basement, they now put themselves in a significant lead for the long game. Because as you talked about, this is the type of map where you're supposed to win those defensive rounds. That is an expected result, is that you would win a basement hold like that. Especially the way it was shaping up. It did look like Black Dragons had the lead for quite a long time there. And because they didn't, now it's going to be a pretty heavy struggle especially when they go to the second half. We saw how influential one round was in the previous match, where both Bootcamp and T1 managed to get a single attack win. So that could play in here.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it shakes out exactly. I mean, looking at the fact that Echo and Clash are banned versus Thermite and Blitz, I mean, Blitz is a counter ban. He's not a staple of this map. He's not an operator where banning Blitz will swing the tide one way or another, because he's not a meta pick. He's not seen with any reliance. He's very team dependent, he's very map dependent, he's very site dependent. So you know, find yourself in a position, I don't even know exactly what Slash is doing there, just having some fun, obviously.
I'm guessing the Blitz ban is Immortals knowing something we don't about how Black Dragons wants to play this map, possibly based on VOD review from the previous time they had played Clubhouse. Either way, I'm in the same boat as you. I don't think that was necessarily a smart ban.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a dumb ban. I mean,
I wouldn't call it a dumb ban either.
Like you said, I mean, the bigger issue is that it's not a, this looks like it could be a sufficient crouch hole for Cyber to be able to get in. And this is part of what makes Maverick so strong, is that, you know, he can just quietly open things up and you have no idea that he's there.
One thing I will say is that you can make a crouch hole with that torch with one magazine, or with one canister, whatever you want to call it, and that was a really inefficient use of the blowtorch from Cyber. So that's something I think he's going to need to practice in the future if he's going to continue to play Maverick.
I mean, something that possibly everybody.
Everybody, yeah. I mean, it's a new operator. Fairness to him, it's a new operator, but definitely something that you need to practice for sure.
Still trying to figure him out exactly. Now the Buck not being run. PX, who was running the Buck last time around with that skeleton key, will instead go with the Zofia. And one who was the savior of the final round will not have such a feat this time, as he will meet his fate at the hands of a C4 thrown up from the Pulse. Inside a dirt tunnel, Cyber will equalize, taking out Drunks, the Legion, who got very aggressive and peeked up, and maybe a bit poorly overall.
So EE1D finally going to be used here before Navi's goes down yet again. So he's managed to use one out of the 2 rounds he's been playing Lion. And it seems like Black Dragons have yet again successfully stalled out this Immortals attack. PX, though, yet again trying to change that, as he will take out Lev. It's a nice frag there, but Slash with wide peak will refrag it. He's got to re-push into the dirt tunnel hold, but Cyber's not going to let him. That was an excellent timing from Cyber coming in from dirt tunnel, and he's actually got Arsenal control well in hand. The last 2 defenders stuck inside of Church, and Cyber's going to get yet another kill, putting it into a 2 versus 1, but the diffuser is being planted. RGZ will stop it before Cyber able to get another refrag. Great play by the Maverick, salvaging the round.
I mean, Maverick is a lot of things with his utility, but let's not forget the fact that he also has 2 pretty good guns.
Yeah.
You know, the AR-15 and the M4 are both very, very strong weapons in the right hands. The DMR is particularly good in comparison to other DMRs. I'd certainly take it over pretty much. I think I'd take it over pretty much every DMR except for maybe Blackbeard's SR-25. But even then, it got hit with the nerf not too long ago. So a lot of people are running that SCAR in place of it. And I mean, Maverick is just, he is what his name suggests. You know, he just comes right in. He does his own thing. He plays by his own rules.
He's the Maverick.
He's the Maverick.
And he did really well in that round for sure. And managing to get his way into the tunnel solo. Timing it perfectly, waiting for Slash to come off of the hold. That was the big mistake for Black Dragons. When Slash relocated from holding dirt tunnel from box to pushing Moto, he wanted to get the kill on PX. I get that. He white peeked it. He got it. Congratulations. But it was the wrong tactical play, and it ended up costing Black Dragons the round. So an oversight for sure from Slash, and now they're going to transition to cash defense after unsuccessfully defending the basement twice. So this is the right call for Black Dragons. If you can't make it work twice, you need to go somewhere else. At that point, it's just best to move on.
Right call. And look at that, Cyber playing the Maverick, 6 kills, and he'll go back to it. I think this is a big part of why Maverick ends up getting banned so often is, you know, decent utility. And crazy to think that when he was first introduced on the test server, he had smoke grenades with him as well.
I remember that, yeah.
And there was a bit of an outpour or outcry from a lot of people saying, you know, why are you taking his smokes away? You know, you don't even know how strong he is. I think the smart people that understood the way that the operator worked and raised the alarm over those smoke grenades,
yeah,
I think they did us all a favor, because Maverick is already in a position where I know certainly a lot of pro players would be okay with making his blowtorch a little bit louder, or maybe using a little bit more fuel or taking a little bit more time to burn through the metal. So
I've heard talk of maybe removing some of the canisters, you know, and definitely the making it louder thing.
Make it louder is definitely up there, and I mean it's just wild to think that smokes were included in that as well. That is just, if you think Zofia has a lot of utility.
Yeah, I remember. I remember seeing those smokes and just screaming. I was like, "Oh wow, this is going to be my main. I'm not going to play anything else." Use smokes on a 3-speed great gun and hard destruction? Are you kidding me? But oh, it's done now. I mean, we saw that transition, luckily.
And an excellent job by the dev team to read into that and be aware of that and make that call fast enough before it needed to.
Yeah.
You know, before it could fester. They addressed it really, really fast. But anywho, 1 minute and 15 seconds in, almost halfway through round number 3. We're going to see a pretty straightforward garage hold from the Maestro of Slash. He's going to be positioned on that catwalk. Whether he has any ADSs with him is something that we don't have the full information on just yet. But difficult to dislodge this anchor operator that plays up there, and very important for teams to do so. Now, as I mentioned before, a lot of teams are not necessarily contesting garage. They're opting to go through construction. But Immortals foregoing construction entirely.
Slow push here from Small downstairs, and T's engaged currently with Navi's. The IQ inside of stock. Diogo is going to get Slash as he pushes his way by garage. PX will also get RDZ, so Black Dragons really falling apart at the seams. I mean, pushing from the Habana hole on that balcony, Lev should have just gotten a kill in that moment, but it did not happen. These are opportunities being missed, absolutely wasted for Black Dragons, and Cyber's just going to hunt the roamer downstairs in the basement. The extent of the reach from Immortals here is seemingly the entire map. Well-placed smokes, but Drunks is going to get the first kill for Black Dragons. Yogo goes down. It's still a very great position for Immortals, but Drunks another kill, denying the defuse plant, and a triple for Drunks. It's a completely recovered round thanks to the Legion's great positioning, but he's going to have to ace as Navi's takes out Lev. He's already done a lot of damage to Navi's and Cyber both. The Legion traps are working great for the Legion in this round. Well placed. He's also only got to defend for a little bit of time. 4K so far. Only 9 seconds left. He's starting to panic, though. You can see that Legion trap placement getting a little ahead of himself. Cyber, the hero for Immortals in the previous round, is going to have to clutch it, but he doesn't have time. Oh, no. Drunks, the perfect positioning for Black Dragons to get around. And no ace, but a 4K, and I think we can call it a technical 5K.
I mean, that's what happens. You got the 4K, and then you get the time as well. you got 5 things working in your favor there.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens in textbook, I suppose, example of why you don't have everybody push separately. I don't know how many times we're going to have to see this where teams just simply lack the wherewithal to push with some form of cohesion to them, but Immortals kept one pushed 2 seconds later, a second pushed a second later, a third pushed, and they all die. You got to push in synchronization if you want to be able to get the kill.
The first one, the Jackal on the balcony, went down to an unexpected position. I mean, why would you have your Legion playing where he was? That was so odd for Drunks. It's just a weird spot. I get it. All right, Diogo went down to an unexpected spot. Makes sense. But the Hibana was planting the diffuser with no cover at all and just decided to stick it. I'm guessing trying to play off the smoke, but big whoops, that didn't work out great for him. PX inside of a garage was playing too passively. Needed to help his teammate in that scenario. Was playing on the window, not a great angle, granted, but that might be a situation where you just want to get into the fight and vault it. I mean, maybe that's going to get you killed too, but just waiting there is definitely going to get you killed. Meanwhile, you still had 2 players from Immortals. I talked about it earlier in the round, where Immortals' reach seemed to be to the whole map. They were hunting roamers in the basement, on the floor just below the top. I mean, everywhere. They had roamer hunters everywhere. And then, you know, having those 2 people so far afield, unable to support the actual push, which is being executed by 3 people, then later 2 people, because one went down without even getting into the fight, and those 2 people are disjointed. That's a bad push. All thanks to that great positioning from Drunks. Now, that was a great clutch. However, can we talk about how decidedly, well, one-sided that match looked, or that round looked? Immortals seemed to have it in the bag, and then suddenly they didn't. Black Dragons were falling apart.
Yeah, Black Dragons just getting out-muscled by Immortals. I mean, that looked like the 3rd round, and you cannot hinge a strategy based around the strong performance of one person. It just ultimately does not work that way. So, I mean, it was very lucky for them that Drunks, who they've now relegated onto smoke and will probably have playing more of a firm anchor role on site downstairs inside of Church and Arsenal room. I mean, technically he was playing an anchor on the Legion as well, but Smoke doesn't necessarily have the same fragging potential now that the SMG-11 has been changed. Got some telltale marks as well from Cyber onto those reinforcements. Outside of Dirt, I would anticipate that Cyber will probably use Dirt Tunnel yet again, as he's done that the 2 times that he's attacked this site and been quite successful at it. I mean, he had 6 kills in the 2 rounds that he did push along on Dirt, largely because of great gunplay more than anything. So you see a Claymore get put down there with the stock room, and then here you have Cyber inside of Dirt Tunnel again. So yeah, he's exactly going to go in the same spot as before. I don't think he knows that the smoke is playing so close to him. There you go. Cyber's going to spot Drunks, the hero from the previous round, and that'll be all she wrote for him.
Hero versus hero. Cyber, one of the top fraggers, if not the, I believe, yes, the top fragger for Immortals. Drunks as well for his team. So that clash will result in a huge advantage for Immortals, though they still need to get their way out of tunnel. 11, nice C4, take out 1, but another missed C4 from the pulse of Small over by Box. Yogo will get Lev, and Cyber takes down Small. So great positioning here for Immortals. RDZ is able to refrag over by Moto, but Navi's does the same onto RDZ. Slash now the only defender left, 1 versus 3, and he will down Cyber deep inside of Arsenal, and he's got a very lit PX to contend with on the B-bomb itself. The question is, where is Diogo? He seems to be all the way up in Kitchen, trying to hold this site vertically. Slash aware of his downed opponent now and will secure that kill. But as he wides peaks, he's going to be very exposed to the opponent just across from him. On the B-bomb, PX gets the final kill. Great positioning there, and Slash just not checking the default spots.
I think he was more wary of that hatch above, right? I mean, we saw the silhouette of somebody sitting up top, and you have to expect that, yeah, they're probably going to have somebody up there perched waiting. That's exactly where Immortals had. And good coverage from the attackers there.
They're also probably going to have somebody on the diffuser after it had been planted.
So this penchant to try to win Church Arsenal room downstairs, a bit misguided for Black Dragons. Their final defensive site, they'll go to gym and bedroom. I think that's the right call to make. Obviously, they can't go back to cash. So it's either really that or you go to bar stock on the main floor, because you're not going to try 4 times in a row, and if all 4 of them end up being in vain, then it's very easy to look back and be critical. The one big thing that I've been noticing in every single one of these rounds is that the pressure that Black Dragons has had with their roamers has been so insignificant to Immortals in the way that Immortals are making these pushes happen. Immortals are just simply out-dueling Black Dragons at almost every single step of the way. And would you look at that? Cyber. Oh. There you go. It works the second time around. A bit of an issue there is Drunks' first impact grenade doesn't exactly work out. He's a bit confused, but he'll get it the second time.
Second time's a charm, you know?
Second time is indeed a charm. But I think you can safely rely on Cyber to pull 2 to 3 kills out every single time he entries as Mav. Now, it's going to be a bit more difficult this time around. Drunks just narrowly avoiding taking some damage as Immortals just, as a precautionary effort, will shoot through the window that's on the stairs just outside of bedroom and gym. That could have been pretty hairy for Drunks.
Pretty standard pre-fire. Usually it'll get some damage for free, but Drunks actually walked through the spray of bullets and didn't take any. Kind of crazy. Though Immortals not going to be sweating that, I'm sure. As they start pushing their way over to the Jacuzzi wall, which is a very standard attack strategy here. They have Cyber in a position to open Maverick holes if necessary, but one is going to be the primary hard destruction. He wants to open up as much as possible. He's going to get the Mute Jammers, thanks to the Maverick repelling upside down. Because of those Mute Jammers being gotten, one will be able to open up the wall. Still one in play, though, and it cannot be easily obtained because it was placed over by the indestructible wall. Harder to get with your Maverick. Still doable, but harder for sure. But that is going to slow this take just a little bit for Immortals. You can see they're stacked up heavily around the B bomb site, waiting for an opportune moment to make their push. Lev is going to be in a position to stop that if possible. So is Slash on the mirror window inside a bathroom. This is a great position for Slash, who has been doing some excellent anchor work.
And here's where the Thermite ban really comes in. I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen more Gym and Master defenses, given the fact that Black Dragons banned Thermite. You know, this both CCTV as well as Gym Master seem to be the 2 sites that you benefit the most from not having a Thermite on, because you're going to use Hibana a lot for taking care of those hatches when you're playing downstairs. Levi and Smalls both eliminated, and that is obviously not ideal. I think just slightly out of reach for Cyber as he tries to open up that tiny bit of reinforced metal. A great peek from Drunks will bear no fruit. PX playing the hatch just over top of Office, getting the kill that his team needs. It's 5v2 in favor of Immortals. 5v1 now, as there goes RDZ, and all they need to do is drone out Slash. There's no way for him to fight his way out of this one. Might end up getting a kill or 2 in the process. There he goes. PX going for the knife, but 5-inch blade. Needed to be 6 or 7 inches in order to make that one work. Navi's is there, gets the final kill. And Immortals will walk away 4-1, same as we saw on Border.
So, because Immortals managed to win 4 attacking rounds on Clubhouse, now the standard is that Black Dragons should win 4 attacking rounds, and the Immortals should get 1 defensive round, and we should see a 5-5 draw, as we saw in the previous match. That is the standard of play. All sarcasm aside, though, Immortals have looked really formidable. Black Dragons falling apart quite a lot. And in that 1 round they managed to salvage, that was all thanks to a single effort, that being Drunks, of course, with the clutch. The 4K, almost 5K, single-handedly winning the round for his team. If it had not been for that, we would be in a 5-0 situation right now. And I don't expect there to be much change from the momentum that we see in Immortals' corner. This does look very much like just a one-sided match that Immortals should be able to just walk away with at this point. They are going to go to Cash. And you talked about it. I talked about it earlier. We both, touched on this. Cash is so much better without a thermite. So is Master. Both of these two sites on the top floor are the most aided by a thermite ban. And we only saw the top floor defended twice by Black Dragons. Now Immortals are going to go to it first, so I think already a better start to this half from Immortals.
I mean, half the time that you ban a thermite and you're defending downstairs, where's Thermite going to go? He's going to go to Dirt Tunnel, might save one for a hatch or two, and then use Hibana on Church Wall.
And then if they're impacting the kitchen hatch, having the excess hard destruction, there you go. But
I mean, you ban the thermite, and then you go to the one site where, in my opinion, you're gaining the least from that ban. You know, like ban thermite and then go to the one site that he's not that much of a factor on in comparison to the other two. Whereas when you're defending, I mean, CCTV and Cash is much more doable, but Jim and Master? No, I mean, I'm very surprised that we saw Black Dragons ban thermite and then just go to Jim Master bedroom one time. And I mean, here you have Immortals not making that mistake. They start right upstairs on CCTV. They've set themselves up in a pretty good position. But they haven't really reinforced anything inside of construction, it didn't look like.
No, they got the construction walls to site. I'm not sure if they got the wall that slashes just over right here. But yeah, the ones to site they did reinforce. So they're not going to need to worry about a thermite, I believe. They do have the Hibana in play still. Yeah, they got all the standard walls. They didn't get the office walls. Is what
right. Those were the two that I was most looking at and most interested by. Is that there's no office wall that is reinforced, but PX gets droned out and in will sprint Drunks, but the Jaeger has fallen away. PX very wisely he scampers off.
I think Immortals opted heavily for that garage presence. Those reinforcements are going to be used over there. Immortals, also Cyber specifically, bandit tricking this wall into construction. Makes a lot of sense, as that seems to be the focus for Black Dragons. They're trying to open up that construction wall as much as possible. The Maverick, meanwhile, almost solo pretty much over by the balcony. Not really able to do very much as a single player. You can see just Drunks trying to do his best to allow for Small to open up that wall, but it's just not working out, and he's actually going to die to one as he kind of, I gotta say, foolishly peeks into the site dry. I mean, no utility in his favor. He's peeking a mirror window. He's peeking a typical anchor position. You're going to go down in that scenario, and now Immortals have a lead that they otherwise wouldn't.
Immortals just looking overall sharper as the team for the time being, and Black Dragons being beaten to the punch in almost every single way. They will have the benefit of this Hibana Maverick combo, slash on the one wall inside of construction, be able to open it up. If there's any issues there, then Slash can be the one to possibly do some more remodeling, but they're running out of time very fast. RDZ using a grenade and then finishing it up with the C8. A good kill onto one will set us back to a 4v4, and finally, some smoke usage from either of the teams. I don't know if they're aware, but this is Black Dragons in a great job to possibly close this out. Levi gets 2 kills and amidst the smoke. Small goes for the plant. They have the mirror window at their advantage. Cyber on the MP7. Oh, 2 big kills. He only needs 1 more to go. Can Cyber outduel RDZ? This has got match point and 1 point on the line. RDZ behind the cash room table. He'll see Cyber, and he'll finish it off. A great shot from RDZ, and Black Dragons managing to possibly start the comeback. Are we going to see the T1 boot camp style of play that we just saw? Is Immortals, or are Immortals going to struggle to close this one out?
Well, it certainly seems that way. After that round was a successful attack, and the prospects for the attacking team were so very little. I mean, they opened the wall in construction. With 20 seconds to go, they placed 1 smoke in the bomb site, and they managed to plant the diffuser within that smoke with 3 defenders encircling the diffuse planter. The strategy as a whole there for Black Dragons was really poor. The opportunity was, I mean, the chances of them taking that round were slim. Immortals just somehow played it worse. We started off with 1 who is peeking into the construction doorway. He managed to get eliminated with ease. After he went down, being the main A anchor, seemingly the player on the Mira window was unable to do anything. He also had the Mira herself go down pretty quickly into the round. Well, I say pretty quickly into the push in the final 30 seconds of the round. And then from there, the Jaeger PX, who was playing inside of B, he had the proximity to make something work, but he simply pushed into the breach hole, which was being held. So all of the actual anchors who were meant to deny the defuse plant, just everything that could go wrong did go wrong for Immortals. They played it about as poorly as possible. And then the roamers who were trying to come back, they almost, despite how terribly wrong it all went for the anchors, the roamers almost managed to make a recovery happen and put it into a 1 versus 1. That was such a back and forth round where it's, oh, Immortals should win this. Oh no, that was a crazy comeback. Black Dragons should win this. Now Immortals look like they can win this. And it's just all over the place. So it does look like this is an attacker-favored map. We could say that with, definitively. Only been one defense win yet, or so far, from Black Dragons. But that was still a close round.
Yeah, I mean, singular efforts from both of these teams have been so remarkably important that it's tough to gauge exactly which team has a better pulse on which strategy, right? I mean, Cyber there almost completely stealing it for his team. And honestly, Cyber has just looked so good all game. He's flirting with disaster, though. Standing at the doorway of Garage, almost somewhat exposed, waiting to see if somebody's going to drop. This is a good position to play in. If he doesn't get droned out, he could actually walk away with a kill or two here.
It could be a free kill if somebody drops onto the balcony for sure, which is typical. I mean, this is a cash defense. So the one thing that he risks is that he's not bandit tricking right now, which means the mute jammers are going to have to pick up the slack.
And I mean, it also plays into the fact that a lot of teams are ignoring Garage and just going for that construction-heavy take. And look at this. Where is Slash? Slash is inside of construction, and he's opened up a tiny peek hole in the floor. He also has a mirror available to him. He's going to light up PX, and the Jaeger is just going to be able to walk away. I mean, at some point, Cyber's going to have to come back to sight, and here he comes as we see Black Dragons stacked up inside a construction. And it might have been, I mean, not that Cyber could have been used elsewhere, but it might have been the wrong call for him to play there the way he did. Possibly going for a run out to see if anybody's positioned over by the Garage. Cyber is a man on the move at the moment. He'll head back towards the Garage as one of his teammates will fall. One is the first casualty of this round. Black Dragons managing to get 2 kills. Slash has been down, but so will be Immortals, having PX being taken off of the beat.
Slash was also down in a position where he's not exposed, so he is salvageable should Black Dragons choose to try and salvage him. Pre-fire here from Navi's not going to bear any fruit. Diogo does get a C4 onto Lev, though, which is going to even it out somewhat. RDZ, another great frag onto Navi's. He's been putting in work for his team. The smoke and the plant go down yet again for Black Dragons. Diogo in a position where he's trying to make something happen. Cyber will get the kill he was aiming for. And it's a 2 versus 1 as Diogo takes out Drunks. It's all up to RDZ, and he's not in a great spot. He will be pre-fired and eliminated by Cyber, allowing for the disable. And Immortals will take the round. We go to 5-2. Match point and a guaranteed draw for Immortals.
Defender mission successful.
What a round from Cyber there. Also credited with the kill onto Mav as a whole. Cyber just having an unbelievable game right now.
Yeah, really standing away from the rest of his team.
Absolutely astonishing the way that he's been able to put these points on the board. Big impact kills, obviously playing operators that have their uses, typically rolling with the 3 speeds on attack. He played Mav every round. He's been fluctuating between, the Bandit and the Jaeger so far. You PX a bit on the Jaeger too, but I think that wasn't really the position they wanted to find themselves in. So you've got Cyber on it now. There you go. So, as you mentioned, 1 point for Immortals for sure. That's good. Which means that they will now once again retake 3rd place, as Team 1 had gotten the 1 point previously and jumped over top of Immortals. Immortals will jump back over top of them. One flexing from the castle onto the pulse, so he's going to stay with the UMP. And these two teams here, they're going to go downstairs. They're going to go to church and see how that works. So 2 times for cash, no gym or bedroom possibly played from Immortals if this ends up being our final round.
It does look like Immortals are going to be able to lock this one out. I mean, as much as this feels like an attacker-favored match right now, and I think that has something to do with the way the bans played out. Thermite, of course, being a relevant ban on Clubhouse. Blitz, however, maybe not as much. You know, especially on when Immortals were on attack, they used that Lion quite a lot. They didn't really do much with the Lion, but they used it quite a lot. It was still kind of influential whenever it actually managed to come into play. Meanwhile, Maverick, as an operator, has been the star of the show. Maverick not being banned has allowed the attack so much versatility on a hard destruction-focused map, and I think that's why both teams have been struggling to defend.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like most times we see Clubhouse, Maverick ends up getting banned along with Clash. I mean,
yep.
Maverick was banned in the Noble versus EG matchup on Clubhouse yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how far you need to go back here on Clubhouse to get all this information.
Vitality Secret. He was not banned in Vitality Secret.
Team 1 versus Pain on Clubhouse. Not banned as well. So, I mean,
yeah.
I guess it really depends. You know, Maverick was also banned in Cloud9 versus Mouse on Clubhouse. He was banned in Cloud9 versus Rogue at DreamHack Montreal. Part of that could just be that he's, you know, quite powerful and also very popular because he's new. Maybe it could just be the Clubhouse in general seems to work well for him.
It's also something, you know, to consider is that not all teams have been leading into Maverick as much as others. I mean, these two teams are clearly on the Maverick train, but there are some squads that have decided to just forego learning him in the early stages of the season. And early stages of the second half of the season. It almost feels like a different season. But no, here he's a huge influence on both teams. And Drunk's playing on the Twitch is actually going to be able to... Oh no, narrowly misses the mirror window. And as one gets the C4 on this RDZ, Slash will be able to refrag onto Cyber, so the top fragger for Immortals gone. A lot of damage done there with that kill, but equally damage being done to Slash, the Maverick himself. So, Black Dragons have managed to salvage with the kill onto Cyber, but it's still looking like a Immortals round right now.
I mean, very fortunate they have the Jackal for Black Dragons, or had rather, as one gets 1 kill and then a reset there from Slash as Levi is done for. Drunks will get Navis and we're at a 3v3. I was going to say, with Buck going down, it's fortunate that they had the Jackal with that secondary shotgun in order to do the destructive work that was required of them, but now Levy is gone too. So home stretch here for Immortals if you're a fan of theirs. For Black Dragons, this is do or die time. Only 30 seconds left, and PX will toss out the last of his goo. Wait to see if another will be able to come up in time. He'll pull out his gun and be able to take out Drunks. Takes an engagement inside of Dirt Tunnel. That's Slash right now just trying to break away. You've also got Small available too if need be. Diogo is up, PX down, 1 very low on HP, waiting to see if there's going to be anybody playing at the hatch. It's the Hibana of Small, absorb a lot of damage, and go for the drop. Falls right on top of the goo. 1 just waits, and there it is. Diogo shutting it down, and Immortals, 6-2 scoreline, will capture all 3 points. They will not meet the same fate that Team 1 did after establishing a lead in our first game, and IMT will take the victory.
Great match for Immortals. Well played for Cyber in particular. Really the star of the match, along with Drunks on Black Dragons. You know, talk about impact frags. He only got 6, but 5 of them were, well, 4 of them were all in 1 round. Now, 6-2, Immortals is a pretty definitive victory, and coming off of their 2 definitive losses earlier in this half of the season, I think they definitely needed that.